In this video, I'm going to talk about getting started in VisualBasic.net, and it's going to be very personal in tone. There's going to be no code examples, and there's going to be lots of slides and a lot of personal recommendations and thoughts based on questions that people have asked me over the last couple of weeks. First of all, I'd like to suggest that you can learn this on your own. I suspect that if you're watching this series of videos, and specifically this video, that you're not going to college to learn this. Halverson. Buy that. You get everything in one package. It's what you need to get started. Lots of good examples, 5 CDs worth of information. It's going to be a limited version of Visual Studio, but it'll be enough to get you started for at least only $100. While I say don't spend a lot of money on bad books, don't be afraid to spend money either. I probably spent $20,000 to $30,000 over the last couple of years on books and videos and resources, and you might be saying to yourself, are you crazy? And that's probably the same question my wife asks every time I come home with a new book from Barnes & Noble. But the truth of the matter is that, as the old saying goes, you have to spend money to make money. And this is a dynamic industry. Things change very frequently, and that if you want to be at the forefront of the technology, you're going to need to be able to spend a little bit of cash to buy good resources when they become available. And the caution there is that only buy the books that are good. How do you know if a book is good or not? Look at other recommendations on Amazon.com or go to the bookstore yourself and look through each of the chapters and determine if it has topics that you'd be interested in. Is the book laid out in a way that's interesting, visually, aesthetically interesting to you? Does it have good code examples? Are the code examples on disk? And have good screenshots. Those are always things that are important to me whenever I go to buy a book because, as you could tell, I'm a very visual person, so that's important to me. But the most important resource that you can use is the help that comes with VisualStudio.net. There's an old programmer saying, it's actually an acronym called RTFM, and if you don't know what that stands for, I'm not going to tell you because it's a saying that would make a sailor blush, and it probably wouldn't be appropriate for me to say right now. But the gist of it is that you should use the tool that Microsoft gave you to learn it. They give you lots of sample code. They give you lots of sample applications. They give you lots of explanation, well-written explanation, on how to do various things within the tool. Now, the reason why people, I believe, are averse to it is because they don't like sitting at their computer screens and reading a manual, or that in some cases, as I'll point out as we go through the series, that it's nonsensical. Sometimes it's so technical that you can't quite understand what concept they're trying to say. While that might be true, you should make every effort to use the help because it's going to be the most accurate source of information that's available to you. You don't have to pay anything extra to get it, and you can usually find what you're looking for if you do a good search. Now, there's one website that I am going to recommend, but it's generally for developers who've been doing this a little bit longer, not always for newbies, and that would be msdn.microsoft.com. So it's http://msdn for the Microsoft Developers Network, msdn.microsoft.com. And therein they have a video program that they put out every couple of weeks called the MSDN Show. I think they changed the name of it to the .NET Show. And you can watch Robert Hess as he interviews some of the developers from Microsoft on specific features of the tools. I know that they have a whole hour devoted to web services, a whole hour to usability of applications, and you can learn a lot from that resource. So look for the .NET Show on msdn.microsoft.com. As always, if you want to bounce an idea off of me, I'd be more than happy to assist you. It's Scott at LearnVisualStudio.net. If you need any good recommendations. Now, what I would like to suggest, and we're going to look at this in a video about called What Just Went Wrong, is that you need to use all the tools available to you before you go and ask other people for help, because they're busy and they have lots to do too, and stopping down to help you takes away from their valuable time. So one of the best recommendations I think I can make for you is that you do diligence on your part to find the answer to a question before going to somebody else and asking them. But don't be afraid to go to somebody else and ask them. Usually people are very helpful. I'm very helpful. I try to help everybody who comes along, but sometimes the problems require a great amount of time to explain or to research, and so you're going to have to ultimately take responsibility for finding the answers on your own. But if you do need help or want to bounce an idea off or need more recommendations or more of a path on where to go outside of this series of videos, feel free to type in my email address and talk to me at any point in time. So that's pretty much it for this video. It's a little more lengthy than I had first intended, but I think some of the concepts here are things that I haven't seen other resources on the internet address, or even topics in books. And these are the more human side of development and getting started. And I wanted to give you a good dose of encouragement in some of the protocol, how to go about getting started along these lines. So I encourage you to become a developer, to use your time and your money wisely, to spend as much time as it takes for success, to get good at your craft, and to be a credit to the title of software developer. So thank you, and hope you enjoyed this video.